Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So a couple of months ago I decided to stream 50 hours of music production within a week, and I wanted to make this video to reflect on this experience. But before we dive into it, just wanted to tell you that I have recently released a new single, In Vain, from my third album that will be coming out this year, that you can listen on all streaming platforms. All the links are in the video description. So a bit of context into that. I've been working on my third album for some time now, and I felt it wasn't progressing at the pace it should have. So I've set this experiment to kind of set a push for it. So first, why streaming? Because streaming allows me to have kind of a frame when I cannot get a focus or shift something else. And why 50 hours? First, because it sounds kind of nice, but also because it's 7 hours per day over the week, and it's enough without being overwhelming. And also it's finite, meaning it's not like I want to do that many songs and not, which is not predictable, but here I have to focus on the 50 hours for the week. And that kind of forces me not to wait for inspiration, but also to try things and to find happy accidents and not to wait to be struck by, I don't know what, some kind of inspiration or whatever. So the album is kind of divided into 3 ambiances, among which one of them which is kind of calmer. And I wanted to start a week with a song that fits this vibe. So I took out the MIDI keyboard and tried to build a song which, at least the structure of it, only with keyboards at first, to lay out the whole structure, and I managed to find something, I think, in a couple of hours, which was kind of fitting nice. And though I took a little break, then I added some guitars and some more things. So by the end of the day I managed to have kind of a draft of a first song, and it took me a couple more hours to do a first mix, so that by the end of the day I managed to have a kind of a rough demo of the first song in around 9 hours something, which was kind of a nice way to start a week. And then starts day 2, and with it the problems. I tried many things with guitar, with the MIDI keyboard and everything, but nothing really was appealing to me. I didn't manage to have something creative enough so that I could continue on, so all the ideas were kind of stale. So I didn't really was inspired this day. I ended up the day with a few ideas of a riff that I would use on the third day to actually start a new song, kind of a more metal one. And it started to really take some shape, let's say. And the funny thing is that out of those 2 riffs I think only one of them was used, but kind of in a, let's say, more subtle elements, but it allowed me to kind of spark creativity and go on. By the end of the morning I managed to have kind of, not the full song, but at least a good structure of it. But I had another idea for also an ambient song. So I took a break and decided to start on this other song, this more ambient song. And it progressed well also. I took a few, I think around 4 hours to work on it and to have a start of a structure. I took another break and decided to work more onto the song that I had in the morning, which was a more metal one. So overall the third day was kind of more creative one. Even though I didn't finish an idea, I created a few more ideas that I could work on the day after. Okay, 3 days, 1 demo, a few ideas of songs that start to take shape, around 9 to 10 hours of streaming per day, but tiredness started to kick in. On Thursday I wanted to progress on the ideas of the day I had before, but I didn't really manage to focus for long. I only did like 4 hours. On Friday it kind of continued the same trend. I wanted to start new thing. I kind of had an idea that was kind of going well, but at the time I didn't really manage to progress on it. Actually, I took again this idea and I managed to make it work now, like very recently, but at the time I was kind of stuck on it. So last 2 days, 20 hours of stream remaining. On Saturday, I wanted to try a more electro vibe song idea, and so I started a new song. Was kind of interesting in terms of ideas, but didn't really manage to be a song per se. I did the demo, I did the mix and everything, but it's kind of not really fitting. To me, it's this kind of song where, okay, you have good ideas, but you don't manage to make it really a song. It's missing something so that it's, let's say, coherent or going through with it. So I don't think, for instance, this kind of thing would make the cut of the album. And then Sunday, so the last day, I had another idea. I wanted to do an orchestral song, but I wanted to do it this way. So first having only the orchestral song and then build on top of it. So around 3 hours or so I managed to have the orchestral song, which was kind of sounding nice. And then I started adding drums, but it gave really another vibe to the song, which was kind of interesting as an experience. So like this song, I was like, yeah, it's not bad, but yeah. And I added the drums, I said, okay, here it gives more energy. And so on top of that, I added guitars, bass guitar and everything, more changes on the drums, some synths and everything to give it more vibes, to have kind of a first version of the song. And then I started working on some transition and everything. And I have kind of an interesting thing about this is that while trying to find out transition for guitar, I ended up just going with the flow and finding the melody for the end of the song, which was kind of strong and kind of leading the whole song out. And it was kind of an interesting thing to see that, okay, I have this intent of just doing like a transition that ended up being way stronger in terms of melodic sense in the song. And this idea that you can have a first intention that end up being a whole thing that I haven't imagined at first is kind of nice to have. And so with it concludes the 50 hours of stream within 1 week. So time for a conclusion. Outside of the 50 hours, which was the goal, I wasn't expecting anything. And it went way better than I expected actually. I managed to have around 4 or 5 demos, depends what you call a demo, which are quite nice. Some of them I think will definitely make it to the final cut of the album. And I wasn't expecting that in a such short time frame. I mean, 50 hours is big, but within a week is not that much. It was kind of an interesting experience because even though sometimes I struggled, I had to put up with it and to try again and again, and I definitely think that I found some ideas, some demos that I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have insisted again and again. If I were to do it again though, I would be a bit more organized because it was a bit chaotic. I was a bit too tired at some point, and I would prepare a bit more so that I would have less time wasted and more focus at some point, and have a more rigorous schedule, let's say, to be losing less time and to be more organized. But I think if I have the occasion, I would definitely do it again. With all that said, thank you for watching. Just a reminder that my song In Vain is available on the streaming platform. All links are in the video description if you want to listen to it. And see you next time for the next video.